Hi everyone, welcome to Casual Watch Talk Sunday Social. We're squeaking this in just before the Super Bowl, so I imagine a lot of people are probably at the Super Bowl party, certainly here in the US. So we appreciate everyone joining. But let's kick it off with a wristwatch check. Colby, you're in the hot seat. What you wearing?
Well, I'm a huge Kansas City Chiefs fan. I'm cheering for the Chiefs in the Super Bowl today. And so I couldn't wear any other watch besides my Tudor Black Bay Metis red bezel.
Oh, there you go. Awesome. Mark, what are you wearing?
Well, I only found out who was actually playing in the Super Bowl yesterday. So I am wearing a Omega Speedmaster Mark II. This is the Rio 2016 edition, so it has the gold, silver, and bronze rings around the subdials. Another one of the Omega chronograph flock. Lesser spotted part of the flock, but yes.
Yeah, I don't think. I mean, I'll definitely watch the Super Bowl. I don't really watch like a lot of American football, but I think I've seen less about actually the people playing the game and the players playing the game, and more about the mayor of Philadelphia telling people not to climb on things. So,
last year they greased the poles, or 2 years ago they greased the poles so that they wouldn't be able to climb up them.
Oh yeah, or that because in the UK, I don't know if they have it in the US, but we have that vandal grease that's like really sort of like tar on the. Oh yeah, well, and people have. I was actually listening to it. It's a serious thing, isn't it? People have been seriously injured, falling off as you'd expect, lampposts and stuff. So yeah, be safe. I'm wearing my Seiko, my Solar S. I keep forgetting. I think it's SNE 598, but yeah, on the Canadian strap mill NATO strap. I'm still saying NATO. Sue me NATO guy. Anti-climb paint, yeah. But we used to call it vandal grease in the UK. I don't know if it's still the same thing. Anyway, excellent. Okay, well, we are talking. We were hoping that Todd would join us, Seiko Todd, because he is like the only person. I think he might be the only person that any of us know that actually. Oh, here he is. Oh, we were just. I said I only said your name twice, not 3 times.
Yeah, well, you fed me after midnight. You're in trouble.
Yeah. What's you wearing? Is it one?
See, this is an eagle.
Hey, there we go.
For the Philly Eagles, and I'm wearing a 6139 Seiko.
Oh, nice.
One of the 7,000 series, I think this is. I have to look again, but from the mid 70s, and so it's green, and so I'm doing the whole green thing today.
So, did you say 7,000 series, or one of the 7,000 that you in your series?
Like one of the 7. No. So this is a double check the number. I'm sorry. No, it's an 8,000 series. So we have 6139, and there's different series from that. This is an 8,000 series. This is an 8040.
Oh, awesome. Well, you can introduce this then, because we were saying that I think, well, certainly you're the only person that I know that owns a prestigious brand.
That's right.
Karl F. Bucherer, which we're talking about today.
That's right.
So, yeah, I guess I'll let you intro it then.
Okay. So Karl F. Bucherer has been around 1888, I believe, is what they claim. So they've been, one of the neat things about Bucherer is it's been family owned since its inception, and there's not many watch companies there could still claim that. Seiko is actually one of them. The Hattori family is still, even though it's a multinational corporation, Hattori still is the CEO of the company, which is really remarkable. It's one of the reasons why I'm a Seiko fan too. But Bucherer just has a long history. It's not something that just kind of came up, let's say 50 years ago or something like that. And there's other compelling reasons why I think that Rolex is being very short-sighted in terms of basically folding the brand. And so I could go into that, but that's, I don't know if you want to jump right into that or if there's other opinions here.
Well, isn't this? I don't know if I'm getting my story right, but didn't Carl F. Bucherer himself like invite Hans Willdorf to work out of one of his stores? Wasn't there a link where he was actually? If it wasn't for Carl F. Bucherer, arguably there might not be a Rolex, or it might not be the Rolex that we know today.
And that's really one of the ironies here, is that without Carl F. Bucherer, the first, I guess, without him, Wilsdorf, would he have found another jewelry store to go into? Who knows how that would have worked out. But really, the Carl Bucherer gave Hans Willdorf the chance, really the start. He basically just had a little corner of his jewelry store that he allowed Hans Willdorf to work on watches, and that's what really started it. That's one reason why there's been such a close association between the Bucherer family and the Rolex Foundation, which is, I think it goes by the Hans Willdorf Foundation. I forgot.
Hans Willdorf Foundation. I think
foundation. It is. Yeah, they've been like this, ever since then, because Bucherer is one of the largest retail outlets for Rolex, as an example, and so they've had this tight relationship. Now, Bucherer wasn't making watches back then. I'm not exactly sure when their independent watchmaking started, but there's this close association, and so I think it's kind of odd that the company that really sprang from this relationship is now shutting down the watchmaking portion of it.
Yeah. Do you know, so Orange Hand says something funny. Maybe Breitling will buy Carl F. Bucherer, but I think they will. It's shelved now, isn't it? I mean, unless they're going to. There's some great technology there, though, isn't there? Like that rotor.
Yeah, they so Bucherer bought, and I don't have any notes in front of me because I'm at my in-laws' house and stuff like that, and I don't have my computer up in front of me either, so you get to listen to me on the phone. But they bought, not long ago, a very prestigious movement manufacturer.
It's Techniques Horologies Appliques.
Yes, Technique, which I think is from Journe. Didn't Journe start? FP Journe. There's two others that started.
Yes, yeah. Right? Vinny Halter and FP Journe.
Yes, and so you've got some highly prestigious watchmakers there. And so they bought that, and it wasn't, I forgot, does it say what year they bought that?
2007.
Yeah, it wasn't long ago. But that also had led to some really high complications too. That Bucherer makes some really interesting complications. They have a tourbillon. They've got their peripheral rotor system, which they're almost the only company that built a peripheral rotor. I believe there may be one more that does. That successfully actually got it to work in a watch. And to me, I mean that they own the patents on that. I don't know if this is something Rolex will infuse in something, but it really doesn't matter because Rolex doesn't do see-through case backs except on one model. So I don't know what they're going to do with this. But the peripheral rotor system, that movement, is a proprietary Carl F. Bucherer movement that you're showing there. I mean, it's gorgeous. They're really doing some really high-end work. Like I have the Heritage by Compact's annual calendar is the watch I have from them, which I bought new from Dean Bump at Little Switzerland several years ago. Now that's on a a base. It's a ETA, I think it's 2894 base. I'm trying to remember. And then it's got the Depuis de Poix module on top of it. Then they did some of their own work on it. So it's not a unique to Bucherer movement at all. But how many annual calendar chronographs are out there for $7,000, which is what it retailed for, I believe, at the time, and they still have those up for sale.
Is it this one, Todd?
Yeah, that's mine. Mine's the Panda version, which is that one right there. Yeah, I love it. It's a great dimension. It's like 41 inches. It's perfect, and it's a heck of a watch. And if you look at it, it's a column wheel. I'm trying to call it vertical clutch type of system. They'll show you the back there somewhere, I would think. But it's really beautiful what they've done with the movement. Now it's got a regular rotor in it. It doesn't have the peripheral rotor system, but it's really a marvelous watch. And they've got the different versions of that. They got the red dial, they've got the reverse panda, they've got, I think the red dial is what they call the San Francisco one. They have a green dial. They have some different versions of those that are out there, limited edition ones. But Bucherer only made maybe 20,000 watches a year. They never wanted to be a horology house that made a lot. They wanted just to make, a certain number. And my guess is that they probably weren't that profitable. But that I'm sure that may be part of it. But yeah, I don't know for sure.
I think the article that we were looking at said on a good year it was 80 to 100 million Swiss francs in sales, but there's nothing about profit.
There's nothing about profit. Yeah, I think I was reading. I think Houdini may have written it, or somebody else wrote it, that they think this was a little bit of the great grandson of whatever Karl Bucherer. I forgot how many there've been. His kind of private hobby, so to speak, was keeping this going. I don't know if that's true or not.
Yeah. So we're being asked which one John Wick wore. His was like the pole router version. Let's just see.
Yeah, you'd have to look that up again.
It was like this, but without the it was kind of like this, but without the tourbillon. It looks like this. It was actually arguably one of the plainest ones that they make. I think it wasn't even this one. It was I think it was like this, but without the small seconds. But yeah. That was an interesting tie-in, wasn't it? In fact, the Time and Tide article even makes reference to that, saying that they believed that Bucherer was trying to have its kind of James Bond moment with John Wick, but it was, I don't know, it's out of place.
No. Not to jump in, but actually, that came about because of Bucherer did not approach I forgot the producer of the John Wick movies and of I just lost his name, the star that we all know.
Keanu Reeves.
Yeah, thank you, Keanu Reeves. In stereo. Keanu Reeves, I believe, was already a big fan of the brand. And I think somehow they approached Bucherer on this. I don't think Bucherer was approaching them. I think they approached Bucherer, as I understand the story, at least.
Yeah, because Keanu Reeves is actually a big Rolex fan in terms of, because he gives he gave loads of Rolex Submariners away that had John Wick engraved on the back, like to the producers and the stuntmen and all of that. That's like his thing.
Yeah, and so that's where that came from. Although it could have resulted in a James Bond like moment, but it wasn't that type of relationship that I understand.
No. Well, it's funny because that one scene is at John Wick 2 where the fight scene at the end, there's a digital advert that the digital display like Vegas,
all the way behind him, showing I think a gold cased Bucherer of some sort.
It's so funny. It's so funny because the fight scene goes on for that long that it's the same advert looping. But anyway, let's pass it up to Colby. What do you think?
It's interesting that they bought a movement manufacturer associated with JLC, because I hadn't really looked at any Bucherers before today. But my first thought was a lot of them look like JLCs. So maybe that makes sense.
That's fair. There certainly is a relationship. When, like you were talking about that Petrovi chronograph, the one with the jewels on it, which is kind of an odd thing, right? You can't look at bejeweled watches too much. But there's that Petrovi, was it something tech? It's the big monster chronograph that you were looking at and saying, oh, that looks like an Invicta, which it kind of does. I agree. It's a pretty big monstrosity in some ways. But if you look at a JLC master compressor chronograph, they are equally as ginormous. as that watch.
You know, I misstated that. It was FP Journe, not
FP
JLC.
Journe, yeah.
I'm sorry.
Yeah,
I
FP
misstated
Journe.
that.
Yeah, so Todd, you're talking about this one.
No, the big honking one. That's
The big one. Yeah. Okay, so it will be.
There's a fairly hideous chronograph I saw.
It's polarizing. That's what I was telling Sam. It's a polarizing.
Yeah, I mean,
No. It's hideous. It's not polarizing. It's hideous.
We'll get onto it later. I'll definitely want to talk about the dive watches because those dive. We'll talk about it later, but those dive watches like blew me away at just how hideous they are. So there's a minute repeater with that same.
They have a minute repeater that's gorgeous. Now these are $200,000-$300,000 watches, so they build the watches up in that zone. Don't know how many they sell.
Am I sharing? Yeah, I am sharing.
Yeah, in fact, they have one of the best sounding, I argue, minute repeaters that I've heard, at least.
See, that's a good looking one, isn't it? That is a good looking. Well, I suppose because that actually looks like a Mont Blanc, doesn't it? That one.
And I always like Mont Blanc.
Or a Citizen. It's not distinctive.
Yeah.
We kind of.
Their heritage pieces, which is like my chronograph, I think are spot on. It's some of the other ones that are, I don't know, different.
Yeah, so somebody's asking, so Big Zebra is asking, only just arrived, how could Bucherer bite the dust? Did Rolex cancel production of Bucherers? Well, we don't exactly know is the gist, isn't it?
Well, so what I did as soon as I saw that article pop, I messaged my provider, Dean Bump at Little Switzerland, because Little Switzerland has a big relationship with Bucherer and has had one for quite some time. They have a Bucherer, older stores sell Bucherer in the Caribbean. And I asked him, I said, what's going on with this? He said, yeah, it's true. And in fact, they're trying to corral all of the current models to get them all, into the showrooms, and they're selling them at a discount now. So my guess, based upon what was just written there, is that they're not producing anymore, or they've got to have some amount, I guess, right at the end of the production line that they may release. But I asked him, I said, so what ones can you get? And he said, pretty much all of them. The world timers are the ones that are hardest to get, he said, right now. Like the one they did in partnership with Hodinkee, for example, which is a gorgeous watch. But they have other ones too that are a little harder to get. My guess is that the gold and platinum ones are going to be the easiest to get a hold of.
Yeah, because this is arguably this. I mean, this is absolutely beautiful. This, isn't it? This is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, some people think that left part of the the left crown, the kind of the symmetric crowns, is a little weird, which it is. But I appreciate the design language. I think it's pretty good. Yeah. I wouldn't mind one of these at all.
Yeah, Mark, what did you any thoughts?
Carl F. Bucherer weren't on my radar. Yeah. The Wilsdorf Foundation are, I think, famously unempathetic. If you're not making money, you're not part of the organization. Rolex don't do highly decorated movements. Rolex don't do a lot of complications. It doesn't fit. And if no one can find that they were profitable and it was being run as a hobby, I'm not surprised. They were so not on my radar. You just have to hope that the watchmakers that they have can find other jobs, but it didn't worry me at all. Peripheral rotor technology is interesting, but if it was that exciting, somebody else would be doing it.
Yeah, I just don't know if they have the patents on that or not. I don't know what the issue is.
And without looking into the patents, it didn't worry me at all. Put it this way, I won't lose any sleep.
Yeah, it's interesting because actually we will never know because I think was it Jörg Bucherer or somebody? Forgive me for getting the name wrong, but the last of the Bucherers to own it, who sold it to Rolex, he sadly passed away in 2023.
Right, he passed away. Right, almost right after the sale.
Yeah, it's almost like he was hanging on to see it, like Roy Disney with building the Magic Kingdom here. So. so we'll probably never know what his feelings on it. Maybe the writing was on the wall and he knew. But what's very interesting is while the brand is obviously the watch brand is going away, the stores are still like wildly profitable, aren't they? They're wildly.
Well, the retail arm. I mean, Rolex bought Bucherer for retail. They did not buy Bucherer for the watches.
And the jewelry business of Bucherer, I think, is what is the most profitable, as jewelry business usually is.
Yeah. We've got a good question here, Todd, because I asked this to you, didn't I? I said, well, they'll have to keep some watchmakers for the warranty. But you said was it you that said they're outsourcing that?
Right, and it's not a company I was familiar with. I got that information from Dean. I sent it to you, Sam. I can't remember the name. It begins with a T. It's TOML or something strange like that.
I thought it was Stoll, STOLL.
You're right.
That's it. Thank you.
And Stoll, everyone should know because they're the ones who do the eBay authentication. They are a big. Big watch maintainer authenticator.
That's right. I'm sorry, you're right. You just reminded me. That's right. Okay. Yeah, I missed that.
Authenticator, what, for like insurance purposes or for like
no,
eBay?
If you sell a watch on eBay that goes through authentication, it goes through Stoll.
Oh, because it does. Because when I send one for the authenticator, it does have like THC or it has like TH something in the address actually.
Yeah,
so
it's Stoll.
Yeah. So maybe there is an acronym associated with it.
There's some weird acronym, I think, but
yeah. I think you're right. Yes, exactly.
Right, because I still have a warranty on mine. So
James Blonde is making an interesting point that also was made in that article, which is that at one point in Bucherer stores, Bucherer were the second most popular brand behind Rolex, but that's because they made you buy Bucherer in order to get the Rolex.
Yep.
That was the point that was made on the on another watch group where the guys from Dubai were saying, "Oh yeah, you only ever see them as shortcuts to desirable Rolex."
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't know whether
that was their principal role, was the shortcuts to desirable Rolex.
Yeah, we'll say allegedly on that, so we don't have the crown coming after.
Allegedly, yeah.
Allegedly. So,
Yeah,
but that wouldn't be Rolex doing it. That would be Bucherer doing
that would be Chubb.
Yeah, I guess so. Well, I don't know. I don't know if I believe that entirely.
Yeah, I do have a thought. I wonder if one of the lessons from this, from Bucherer's perspective, and again, I basically only learned about Bucherer in the last hour, but I wonder if one lesson is a new movement won't save a watch company. If
merch, get it on a T-shirt.
If that's what they were hoping for by buying that whatever it was company, maybe that's a lesson for more. Maybe Oris, for example, could take that as a lesson.
Oh yeah, that's actually a really good point, isn't it? Yeah,
that is a good point. Mm-hmm.
If the Kalev Bucherer watches were sold to support purchase of other watches, I would imagine their second-hand value is not great.
No.
If you look at Delray watch, I mean, we all know that Federico is proud to be a bottom feeder, but he is. Well, he says, "I have the cheapest."
Cheapest. He always says that. I'm like,
he always says that he is proud to be the hardest bargainer. And he will quite happily tell you if he's bought a watch that's 20 cents on the dollar, even if it's $50,000 watch, he will quite happily tell you.
Yep.
He had one Kalev Bucherer on his site this morning, and it wasn't a current model, but it was about 4,000. It was a flyback chronograph that should be at about 20, I think. So yeah.
This is an absolute cracking deal on this Bremont. Yeah.
Speaking of homeless watches, yes, like Bremont. Yeah.
So,
the weird thing too, though, is with Bucherer is that they also had this extreme high horology piece of their existence, which makes me wonder. Not that Rolex has any inkling towards that, but you're getting well into Patek areas with the high end parts of Bucherer. Will that survive in any way?
Yeah. That's what Time and Tide was speculating, wasn't it? Oh, there you go. There was a Carla Bucherer there. Yeah, 4,000.
Mm-hmm.
I am sure. Yeah.
Yeah, but keep in mind too, JLC often stinks too on resale. It's just one of those things.
Most watches stink on
Watches
resale.
stink.
To be fair.
Yeah. I've sold them. I've been surprised recently. There's a lot of people out on Chrono at the moment that are holding the line. Todd V and I were talking about this on this week's edition of the podcast, Casual Watch Talk podcast. Check it out on iTunes or Spotify. We were talking about this, that a lot of people on Chrono 24, especially the Japanese sellers, seem to be trying to hold the price. So there's just a lot of watches on there. If you search for, I forget what I was looking for, a Seiko or something, and there's a lot around the same price. They seem to be holding the line instead of at the moment dropping them to try and get a sale. And we were even looking at because we did the audio podcast that we did was on Rolex. Like, is Rolex really coming down? And it is based on, we looked at 2022 models and we looked at now, and they are on the pre-owned coming down, but they're still in most cases trading double for the desirable, double on the pre-owned versus for the desirable models. So interesting point. One of the things I got quite animated in our group chat about just how foul I think their dive watch. I never saw this is the first time that I saw
Scuba Tech.
Yeah, the Scuba Tech. Let's have a look at this. This website is also taking its time. Is it under this? No. Let's just have a look. I forget the name of them. Was it this? Maybe it was this. Let's have a look if it was these. Yeah. Got these. What? I can't understand what the hell they were thinking. This looks like an Invicta. If that had Invicta on the dial, you wouldn't think twice, would you? I mean, that is.
Oh man, it does.
Outrageous.
The hands do look like something.
Yeah. That's exactly what I said. I always make a joke about the Longines Legend Diver having a sort of an eggplant shaped hand, but that is really next level.
What's the size? How big is that, Sam? I forgot their case size.
Yeah, let's have a look. It is. Oh, sorry, going back. Take another week. But these are absolutely foul. I would at this time I would say sorry if anybody owns one, but I can't imagine anybody's bought one of these.
I actually don't know anybody who has one.
45.
Yeah, they're big. Yeah. They're big boys. Yeah.
13. But this, I mean,
those they had some chronographs that were fairly hideous. There you go. What does?
Yeah, these. Yeah.
They look like Timex.
Are they doing Timex a disservice?
Possibly, but
they are.
How much are they asking? I can't tell on my phone.
12,400.
Oh my gosh! Okay.
That's and then it's got an asterisk.
I mean, in the bad old days of Tag Heuer design, or bad old days of Breitling design, they wouldn't be proud of that.
Is that stainless or is that white gold or platinum for that price?
It is. Let's have a look.
Kate
is stainless steel screwed down sapphire crystal with an anti-reflective coating on both sides.
Oh, and that's nice. You get 50 meters of water resistance.
50 meters of water resistance.
Just buy a Speedmaster. Save yourself the pain. Buy a Speedmaster.
Oh, that really tops it off, doesn't it? I mean, actually, let's just check the one. Let's check the dive watch that has the actual manta ray on it. So
the manta ray, right?
Let's see what that one is. Functions.
I thought those were 200-meter watches.
500 meters.
No, 500 meters. Okay.
Yeah. So maybe it's just the chronograph that's. I wonder if that was. Let's check another one of those chronographs in case that was a miss. An error on the website. Let's try.
Go for the blue one.
Super thick too.
Tiffany. No, 50 meters. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. They're thick too. Yeah.
Here's that one we were trying to find before, Todd, that we were saying was really like the absolute epitome of the foulness.
Yeah, it's the Travel Tech. That's what it is. It's Travel Tech. It's the big honking chronographs. Is that the one with the jewels on it that you found?
Yeah.
That's a nice stout one. Yep.
Now, there you go. There's your Rolex Cosmograph equivalent.
It's truly
Oh, wow.
hideous.
Look at that
So-
font for the date window. It looks hand drawn.
It does.
Well, there must be. I think there's an internal Cyclops, isn't there? I think they're just trying to computer render it. It's a round. You can't see it from here, but it's like a circular Cyclops, probably on the inside. But yeah, you're right. It makes the date look a bit funky. So Robert Coleman saying, do you think the desire for dress watches or lack thereof is linked to their demise, given the branding leans heavy? Now, I think it's just that people. It's a great question. My opinion is that it's just that they didn't have the brand recognition. They had no model that. But I don't know what the rest of the panel think.
Their dress watches. Some of them are spectacular, especially the ones in gold or platinum are really beautiful. Overpriced, but stunning, and the movements are stunning. But I don't know. I can't imagine they sell a lot of them.
Yeah, completely agree. I mean, when I think about Karl F. Booker, which I did for the first time today, basically, I thought, why? When I saw designs that I liked, I thought, oh, well, you could just get a JLC or this other thing. Why would I get a Karl F. Booker?
Yeah. Also, the name's quite lengthy for the dial of for a watch.
It's almost as bad as Christopher Ward, but yes.
No, it's worse than Christopher Ward because Christopher Ward doesn't have the pretentious initial in the middle.
Not anymore. It was only they had the Char. It was Char.
CHR, yeah.
Yeah. Todd, you nearly got booted off then.
Oh no!
That was nearly a violation.
I had to throw that out there.
A violation of Christopher Ward talk. I mean, casual watch talk. I mean, this is okay, isn't it? I mean, if they were fire sailing these at like a couple of grand, maybe I guess would be.
But what do you get? What do you get with that? Does it have the? I mean, well, it has a closed case back, so I guess it doesn't have the peripheral rotor.
No.
Yeah, for 1950 12 jewels.
Like, you have to have a story. You got to capture my imagination.
Right. Yeah. I agree. I'm with you on that too. Well, the
75% off retail. Does that capture your imagination?
You can get 25% right now, so that's one thing. But the way to buy Karl F. Booker normally, I would argue, is through a secondary market. And the one I sent you a link briefly, Sam. You probably can't. I don't know if the link went with it, but it was that 18 karat white gold dress watch with a peripheral rotor movement was being sold by a third party. It was brand new. It was half price. It was $6,000.
Was that on Chrono?
It was one I hadn't found before, but it was $6,000 for an 18 karat watch with a proprietary movement in it. And if you want gold, I mean, that's a killer deal right there. It was brand new. And it was really a stunning.
Wouldn't you just be buying it to melt it down?
No.
Look at that. Those hideous dive watches. Somebody's trying to hold the line there, but I mean, wowzers. 3,100. What's this? This hopefully it'll show us the graph of what they've sold for. Oh no, there isn't even a graph. There isn't even enough sales on there to graph it out. Sales. Yeah. Wow. So, let's have a look then. So, we're looking for Karl F. Bucherer. We're looking for, we're saying, will it have gold? Gold, yellow gold. Let's have a look. Actually, let's just do filter. Sorry.
It's all right.
Yeah.
We're doing this. This is live. This is the beauty of
live. They haven't got any new ones. Well, maybe I'll take the case. We'll do steel, and then we'll do year. 24, 25. And see what they've got. Okay. There's that flyback that Federico had. Federico got a better deal on it.
Monero flyback is a nice watch.
Yeah. There's a Monero. Let's have a look. I can't. They're not like selling them off, are they? Cheap. There's one for 2,342. This is the John Wick one, I think.
Oh.
Yeah, it could be.
Yeah, let's have a look.
Been a while since I've seen the movies, so I'm not sure.
Yeah, it wasn't. I mean, he sort of showed it in 5, I think, but it's not. It wasn't obvious. I don't think they hadn't paid the Monero Urban 4,400. So say they're about 4. Well, that one's 7,000. Yeah, so maybe they're coming down a little bit, aren't they?
They'll come down probably a lot more as this goes on. I think they're supposed to get them all either sold or collected by June.
Okay.
So if you want one, the prices may come down pretty steeply.
Yeah, look, they haven't even got any comps on those ones, those dive watches.
Yeah, the dive watches, yeah.
No. Cool. Okay.
And when we look at this, though, too, when we look at small watchmakers that are, we're trying to move more into high horology, I mean, Mont Blanc is a great example of that. Colby just got his just stunning Mont Blanc, and so they just bought what high horology maker did they buy not long ago?
Minerva.
Yeah, that's right. Because they're moving into that. Although Mont Blanc certainly doesn't make most of their money through watch sales, but
no,
they're luxury goods in general.
Yeah, they're leather and. They do really well with the leather, the pen, obviously the pens,
and you're right, the leather goods and other things like that.
Yeah, I bet it's one of those brands where you find out that the rollerball is the actual number one. It's like their 36 ladies date just or whatever, or 26 ladies.
Yeah, you have to buy the cheap rollerballs first before you can get the good pens.
Yeah. All that's like the cash cow for them. Yeah, let's have.
You have to wonder about Minerva, though.
Mm-hmm.
I remember the interview that Mont Blanc did, and they were going, "Oh yeah, we've got Minerva, and they have this wonderful innovation of 18,800 VPH." And I'm going, "No, your movement's old. That's not an innovation. That's just the fact that your that's not an innovation. You can just about call it a differentiator, but it ain't an innovation." Sorry, not falling for that one.
Pocket watch innovation, bringing pocket watch innovation to the modern era.
Yeah, if they bring a different technology, but please,
yeah.
Trying to tell me that 18,000 VPH is an innovation. No, they just haven't done anything new in 70 years.
So what do we think that Rolex would use some of the technology or?
Well, you should show that mock-up that Time and Tide made.
No. Do you know, I actually, sorry, whilst we're on this, before I click on that, I noticed that that Carl F. Bucherer don't appear in the top 50.
I don't think so. Yeah.
Yeah, they did this mock-up of a perpetual moon phase.
That's
Rolex.
A good-looking watch there, too.
Yeah.
That is.
1908 with a greater complication.
I mean, that would make sense. If Rolex were to do something like that, which would be uncharacteristic, I think that would be a benefit. I could see some good, coming from that. I just don't believe it.
It is a shame to let if Mont Blanc or not Mont Blanc, if they really do have those patents, and now Rolex owns them, it's a shame if that's a genuine. If they're the only one that can do a peripheral rotor, it's a shame not to have anybody use it.
Yeah,
but don't forget that keeping patents, you have to, once you pass the first 4 years, it's $10,000 per year per country. So how many countries are you going to keep your patent going in?
Yeah, it's tough.
It's tough. I mean,
it's tough.
We deal with it. I deal with it professionally all the time. It's like, oh, we've got this great patent. Yeah, I know, but it was defensive, and we've got it in 30 countries, and quite frankly, we don't care if somebody does it now because we're past it, so we're going to let it drop.
Right.
Unless you're a Japanese company and you're only keeping your patent in Japan because that's what you do, or you do like the big personal care companies.
Yeah, they make patent.
You only have it for 4 years, then you drop it because after 4 years you don't care. So yeah, you could have the patent. Will anybody buy it from you? It might not be worth anything.
Or can you check infringement? Yeah.
If nobody else uses it and the patent expires, you still need the other companies still won't know how to make it. So essentially, they'd have to develop their own movement that's a peripheral rotor, which is of course a big undertaking.
Is there, as much as we might get excited about movements, is there a demand for a peripheral rotor?
No, probably not.
And quite frankly, it's more likely to be someone like Horage who buys the tooling and the IP because they are movement innovators.
Right. The beauty of the peripheral rotor is it allows you to have an automatic movement that's very thin. Some of the dress watches with the peripheral rotors, I think, are less than 10 millimeters.
Yeah, so it's this bit outside, isn't it, Todd? It's just like tungsten or something.
You can see it on the outside. Yeah, it's like a heavier weight of some sort of material that still works that way, right?
And it just basically revolves around here, and there's these gears, isn't there, that actually it's winding the watch. It's like these gears here, isn't it, that's winding the mainspring. Yeah. Yeah.
But you could imagine Citizen buying the IP for La Bucherer, but again, it's going to have to be cheap.
Yeah. Well, you probably know this really well, Mark, is that when one of the great institutions in the U.S. in terms of companies, Kodak, when they went bankrupt, they were auctioned off. Their patent portfolio was auctioned off for about $500 million. That was the end of Kodak, other than we still have the chemical company part of Kodak, which is still alive. But Kodak was really a patent house in many ways once they went under. And it's sad. It was one of those truly sad things where it just kind of got auctioned off for pieces. Kodak
also owned a lot of the digital photography IP.
Yes, they did, which is, I think, made a lot of that, right? Made a lot of that.
I used to work in the document scanning business in industry. Like we used to scan a lot of medical records, and a lot of the big like industrial scanners were Kodaks. I think they owned a lot of patents.
They owned
document scanning.
They owned red photosensitive pigments and digital IP. All the stuff, all the digital cameras that have Bayer patent filters. All that's Kodak IP originally. Kodak really were the innovators. They were 10 years too early. They didn't know how to market it, blah, blah, blah. And, they essentially, Kodak were too early for the growth in digital.
Right. And they were trying to protect their film business.
Trying to protect the film business. Yeah.
That's the beauty of Apple, isn't it? That they've released products early, like the Newton Message Pad, for example, that was 10 years ahead of its time before people were actually really into PDAs. Before Palm, I mean, the team left to make Palm, but they pivot quick, don't? Well, maybe not quick, but they pivot, don't they, to other things? They'll shelve the technology. Same with it. Sounds like Rolex are happy to shelve Bucherer. Just and Rolex, they'll shelve like a popular watch, won't they? Just because it got popular, like the Tiffany OP.
Yeah. So who knows what's going on in their minds, I guess, out of all of this. We'll have to see where this goes.
Yeah, it doesn't fit the brand strategy, and it's not profitable. I suspect it's that simple a decision.
Yeah.
It might be. I wonder if Carl knew that, though. I'm sorry, Sam. I wonder if the seller, he sold it. So I forgot if it was a Carl Bucherer, but the Bucherer that sold it to Rolex. One of the reasons they sold it to Rolex is because nobody in the family wanted to run the operation.
Yeah, that's correct.
And so that means the whole operation means to retail the jewelry, highly profitable stuff. Nobody seemed to want to do it. And it kind of, it was after so many generations, I guess it burned out and they just weren't interested anymore.
Yeah. Jorg, I think it was Jorg Bucherer.
Jorg, yeah. Yes, Jorg.
Yeah, it's right. Yeah, none of the family members wanted to take it on. Maybe they'd seen 4 generations worth of stress and everything. Oh, Eric, thank you so much for gifting the Casual Watch Reviews memberships. I've been releasing I'd really like it if people wanted to, who aren't members yet, if you would like to join. I've been doing some members only content on the show, and I've been doing some. Oh, sorry, I thought I just clicked off you then. I did a behind the scenes of the studio, so you get to see the studio looking this way, what I see here. And I also did a members only live stream on Monday, which turned into a really cool Q&A. People were asking me like a lot of behind the scenes stuff, like how I started the channel, why I stopped doing the original podcast and then brought it back. It was like a full hour of really cool questions, and it was good because there was like, I think 17 members turned up, so really appreciate it. So if you want to help the channel out for $1.99 a month, very much appreciate it.
Yeah, and you might get a free Bucherer watch. Not kidding.
Yeah, we'll all drop a Bucherer watch.
Part of the deal.
Yeah. I'm just about to do my my watch reviewers EDC. I'm going to do as a members upload, so that what I carry in the day, but also all the bits that I have for my watches, and one of them's these cloths everywhere for wiping the watch. So I'll be releasing that tomorrow. Cool. Well, I mean, it's hard to say if there's any other watch brands that we think might be in trouble, because I guess we didn't think we thought probably Carl F. Bucherer was going to be absolutely fine with Rolex behind them. But
I mean, it's there are watch brands we've never heard of. We spoke about Federico earlier. A few weeks ago, he had this video about some high-end watch brand where, you know, the watches retail were $250,000, and yet he was buying them for $50,000.
Right.
Yeah, and you sit there and go, there are brands you've never heard of, just but limping along.
I wonder if it was this one.
No,
these were like MB&F type watches. They were bizarre. There it is down there.
Like guy. This one.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
It's a tourbillon, I believe.
Wow, look at that from the side. Wow.
Yeah, it's unique.
That on a Velcro strap for 60,000. Treat yourself.
Pennies on the dollar.
Oh, these are beasts, aren't they? Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, look, it's got like a bicycle chain.
Yeah, that's one of the chain drive watches for that company, which is really unique.
Oh.
Wow.
It's a good point. That's high horology in bizarre ways that what didn't make it.
Yeah. Frank Mueller there.
Mm-hmm.
God, these are good. That's a good deal on a. Oh, it's a quartz, but that's still a good deal. 1,700 for a. I need to stop looking. I'm trying to stop looking at watches. Yeah, it's going to be an interesting Watches and Wonders, because I wonder if Carl F. Bucherer had a stand at Watches and Wonders. I'm sure the Rolex team is going to be asked a lot about it.
Yeah. Or not.
Maybe they'll bring some.
Yeah. Well, guys, have you got any questions? I mean,
that's a good point. Were Carl F. Bucherer part of Watches and Wonders? I don't know.
Let's have a look.
Can you see?
Yeah.
Or were they even part of Watches and Wonders last year? That might be more.
Oh, here we go. So there is an article on their website that they were there in 2021 at least. Yeah, Carl F. Bucherer Watches and Wonders 2021.
Okay.
Oh, when it was all digital.
Oh, is that right? Because of COVID, it all went digital.
Let's
have a look, see if they've got any other news. Last news was March the 11th last year.
A new chapter in Swiss watchmaking, they say. New era.
It's called an epilogue.
Yeah, no, it doesn't. Yeah, you're right, Colby. It doesn't say anything about Watches and Wonders since. Oh, yeah. Interesting. Yeah. So, well, yeah. I mean, that's the thing with Rolex is you can never predict what they're going to do, whether they'll use the complications or they won't. Like you never know what they're going to do from year to year. It's sort of getting up to like Rolex predicting season, isn't it now? Where all the YouTube, we don't do it. Well, have we done it? Maybe we've done it, but we don't. I don't make like a dedicated video on Rolex predictions.
Because when did the annual calendar come out? Didn't that take everybody by surprise?
The 90,
Sky Dweller?
I'm
Or
not
not?
sure.
the annual calendar, like the 1908.
The Sky Dweller. The one where the calendar goes in a circle on the dial.
Oh,
Oh,
Because it's the only
the
high
Sky Dweller's the
competition.
GMT's the circle on the dial. You mean that one? The Sky Dweller's the GMT is the circle.
Oh, is that a GMT? I thought
Yeah,
that
the
was
Sky
calendar.
Dweller's. No, it's the Sky Dweller's the center of it's the. Let me just find it. The center of it's the perpetual initiatives. Yeah, it's the GMT. It's like an off-center GMT.
Oh, I didn't even know that.
Yeah. Yeah, here we go, Sky Dweller. Yeah, the center. Actually, the Sky Dweller. What's interesting about the Sky Dweller?
Oh, but it also has an annual calendar.
I didn't know Sky Dweller had an annual calendar.
Yeah.
Did it? Okay, that would be new.
Yeah, I think that is new. Yeah, because the thing with the thing with the Sky Dweller and also the Yacht Master is that the bezel does something. The Sky Dweller, the bezel moves to set the functions.
Yes.
So it's not decorative. The bezel, it's actually functional. That's why it's got the fluted bezel. Let's have a look about that. You've got me intrigued now about whether it had a perpetual calendar.
No, yeah, I'm looking at
Annual calendar.
Annual calendar.
Annual, yeah.
Because that's like the one.
And it's been like that for a while.
So what do we mean then? What's the difference between the annual? It just knows the. I thought the perpetual knew the leap year.
It does. And an annual calendar knows everything except February 28th, 29th.
Right.
So my Omega annual calendar, the only time I would have to change it is February the 28th or the 29th. So every other one it does.
It knows whether months have 30 or 31 days.
Yes.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
My CFP is the same way. The annual calendar is the same way.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I didn't.
It's a nice complication, the annual calendar, because
it's a neat one. Yes, it is.
It's 99% of the usefulness of a perpetual with, a thousandth of the complication in doing it.
Yeah. Robert's asking, is the Sky Dweller the most complicated watch they make? Yeah, it probably is. Except for, I also think that the Yacht Master is quite. The Yacht Master has that yacht timing, the bezel function as well.
Yes. It's actually very clever. I think we ought to get Patrick from Pocket Watch Time on because he's got a Sky Dweller, and he could show us how it works.
Yeah, I have had a play with it. It's.
I thought the Yacht Master was just a sub with a different bezel.
No, the other Yacht Master, the Yacht Master 2, it's called.
Why
aren't we finding it?
These are all very expensive.
Yeah, here we go.
You don't see them often.
Yeah, they haven't stopped selling it, have they? Yeah, the somebody's shouting at their things now. It's like you're typing in the wrong thing. Yeah, the Yacht Master with the one with the funky, like the blue and the yellow bezel.
Oh, maybe it's out of production because I'm not seeing it in a Google search.
Yeah. Yeah, let me at least pull a picture of. Let me at least pull a picture of it up. Yeah, here's one on Chrono. Yeah, this was it. So the bezel actually also does something. Yeah, the bezel, you kind of twist it one way or the other, I think, to set it. For the yacht timing, it's not a continuously moving bezel round, I think.
So it's a regatta timer.
It's discontinued. Huh?
Yeah.
Oh, there it was.
It's a regatta timer, rather.
Yeah, regatta. Yeah, that's right. Regatta timer is part of it. That's correct.
Yeah.
So then,
Sky Dweller is the Sky Dweller must be the most complicated that they do now, or is the most complicated that they do. Yeah, discontinued. Huh. I wonder when they discontinued that then, because the gold one was always, you used to always see in the window. Yacht Master 2 with the Regatta timer is discontinued, Thomas is saying, yeah. Huh. There you go. There you go.
My checkbook was almost out for that.
14. Actually, that's not a bad deal. 14,000, is it?
No,
For
that's
a Rolex.
Speaking of depreciation, that one's really gone down. I bet you that was a $30,000 watch. Is that steel or gold?
That one's steel, but there's the
Oh,
rose gold 18, full gold 34, I suppose.
Okay.
Yeah.
Pish posh. If it's not gold, I don't want it.
Well, this one. I think the gold one or the two-tone. I know somebody who has this. The regular calendar needs 5 corrections a year, and annual needs 1 correction. This is Dave Remus is saying, yeah, and a regular calendar needs 5 corrections a year, and annual calendar needs 1 correction a year. Perpetual needs a correction on most centennial years. A secular perpetual may need a correction in a year 4000. Okay.
Is that like IWC's Eternal Calendar?
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, look at this. We're learning stuff now.
Yeah.
Thank you, Dave.
Right. Yeah, Yachtmaster 2 was the ugliest watch in the catalogue. Yeah. Awesome. Well, guys, that's been. We actually were worried that we weren't gonna eke this out for the full hour. The Carla Bucherer thing. But
I mean, if Todd hadn't come along, we'd have had about 5 minutes. To be fair,
we would have been like, does anybody care? No. Okay, then we'll that's a bit dismissive. Hopefully, like you said, Mark, the people that watchmake. I mean, they must be highly skilled watchmakers. So hopefully, they will find a new home.
I would think so somewhere. I hope that expertise goes somewhere, and I would love to see it show up on a Rolex product line, or if they sell it to somebody, that would be good. I mean, look, if you go live, they have videos of their minute repeater chiming. I mean, it's gorgeous. I mean, it's just gorgeous watchmaking, and it's just a shame. I just hate to see it. But keep in mind, I'm a Saab fan. I have a 1999 Saab, and I'm still angry at GM for killing Saab. GM killed Saab because they didn't know what to do with it, and they just. Saab,
no. GM knew what to do with Saab, and quite frankly, Saab drove themselves out of business.
Saab couldn't make much money. Jaguar though. Jaguar's never been really profitable too. I mean,
only Land Rover and Range Rover. But look at the Top Gear episode where Top Gear listed what Saab did to get themselves destroyed by GM. It's just like, Saab knew what they were doing. They were true to themselves, yes, but they weren't going to stay in business.
Well, it's funny how both Saab and Breitling in the 90s sort of focused on pilots, didn't they? Because Saab, they used to say it was like a cockpit, but pilots didn't buy them. Like architects bought Saabs, and and I don't think pilots bought Breitlings. It was everybody else, wasn't it? So It's funny that they both. And Breitling don't focus on the pilot stuff anymore, do they?
Saab still make aircraft, and it's Volvo Fleet Motor. So Volvo make the jets, Saab make the Gripen.
Volvo doesn't make any aircraft. Volvo, right? Their commercial truck division is highly profitable. They still make their cars, right? The Volvo cars.
Volvo also used to make jet engines. Volvo Fleet Motor, but but I think the Gripen or the Gripen.
Yeah, I call it a Gripen, I think, but yeah.
I think the Gripen is now a General Electric engine, or it's a license-built General Electric engine, I think. Volvo certainly used to make jet engines, very good jet engines too.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, I mean, I work in the trucking industry, and Volvos are some of the best trucks that you can buy, the best Class 8s that you can buy. Like there's fleets that have that just stick with Volvo Class 8s. In fact, I drove it first time ever. I rented a Volvo, an XC40 the other day, and then we went and test drove one of the XC60s. They're beautiful inside, those new I mean, I guess all Volvos were like that, but the new ones are beautiful looking. Really, really nice, but they're expensive as well. Volvo make heavy equipment as well. Yes, that's true. Yeah.
Well, that's true. They're heavy equipment. And Saab Defense in general makes a lot of things too. They make a lot of systems that are sold currently. Saab Defense is doing really well.
Saab Defense is doing really well. I think they're partly responsible for the first proper radar in the Eurofighter. And they're certainly part of the electronic warfare systems on the Eurofighter as well.
Yep. Yep.
Oh, Saab make very, very good electronic warfare system. Very, very good electronic warfare systems. Yes.
They do a lot with Australia too. They sell a lot of systems in Australia. We have some of their systems too here and there, but mostly European and Australian systems. Yeah.
Cool. Well, that was fascinating. Yeah, we're going to eat that out to the hour. But last question, Todd and Colby, who's going to win the Super Bowl?
Well, the Chiefs, obviously.
Oh, Todd.
Just like 2 years ago.
Oh man, yeah, that was a tough one. That was a tough one. You're right. We'll see.
Yeah, it's going to be a good game, I think.
It will be. You have to get through the largest front line ever in professional football.
Oh, the heaviest collectively.
Yeah, the heaviest front line ever. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Awesome. Cool. Well, thank you everyone for watching. Thank you to thank you for gifting the members, Eric. Very much appreciated. Look out for some more members content, and thank you to the panel. Thanks everyone. Bye.
Thanks, guys.
Peace out.